Hi, this is Steve Garland, head wrestling coach at the University of Virginia, giving my weekly Virginia Wrestling video newsletter recap. This week we just got back from the Southern Scuffle. The tournament ended, gosh, I don't even know what day it is today. Is today Friday? Today's Friday, so it ended, I don't know, Tuesday maybe? And we stayed an extra 2 days and trained. It was awesome. We had a little training camp there. We had access to some great facilities and did some great team bonding stuff. So it was a great experience for our program, and we just got back late. Gosh, I want to say late Wednesday night. Yesterday we had completely off. Finally, we had a much-needed day off, not for the coaches, but for the kids. And then we're back today at it doing 2-a-days. So I'm going to stick with the theme I've been sticking with all year in terms of recapping competition. I'm going to stick to the positives. I'm going to try to highlight the three guys that really set the place on fire there at the Southern Scuffle, and we thought had some breakthrough, some really mentionable competition results to highlight. So that's what I'm going to stick to. And those three guys are Jack Mueller, Georgie D Camillo, and Andrew Atkinson. Jack Mueller has been a guy that you've heard a lot about throughout the course of the year. He's a true freshman for us. That's now been climbed as high as 7th in the country in the rankings. He went into this tournament as the 11th ranked wrestler in the country, and I believe the 4 or 5 seed in the tournament. He was tested every step of the way. In the first round, he had a Fargo national champion, one of the best Greco-Roman wrestlers in the world at his age group. Very tough kid who we actually recruited as well in Lamont from Utah Valley. He beat him, solid win right off the bat to start the tournament. And we were just so proud of the way he came right out of the gates and competed in that tough of a competition first round. I mean, that was a crazy first round draw. I would argue one of the worst first round draws of the whole tournament anybody could got. And so he handled it very well. And again, reiterating, much more mature beyond his years. He went on to get a fall his second match. And then in his third match in the quarterfinals, he beat a highly nationally ranked wrestler, total stud from Edinburgh. We thought he really did a great job, again, keeping his composure. I think he gave up his first takedown of the year in that match, and rebounded, came back, got riding time, got a takedown at the end, got the escape that he needed, and ended up getting him hit. The young man from Edinburgh hit for stalling a couple times as well, so added a stalling point as well. So, or 2 stalling points, I think. So just really solid wrestling from Jack. And then in the semis, he had a wrestler from Stanford who had pulled 2 huge upsets in a row. The Stanford wrestler knocked off the number 1 ranked guy, and then he knocked off a kid from Campbell, Kreiser, who's a total stud. We've wrestled before. I mean, the kid a million times before, it feels like. And so then he has the Stanford wrestler who's got all the momentum. He goes out, takes him right down, and pins him in the first period. I was blown away, as usual. Jack continues to impress and represent our program extremely well. He got a 3.0 last semester. He's just everything you want in a student athlete. He goes into the finals, comes right out blazing, takes the Minnesota wrestler right down, gets back in, cuts him, or the kid gets an escape, he comes right back in on another shot. He got funk rolled, and this kid from Minnesota is a freak on top and actually rode Jack a large portion of the rest of the match. And I'm so proud of Jack for going down because Jack said, listen, I have to get better there. I want to develop there, and I want to feel it. And it's not about this tournament. It's about the rest of the year. It's about who am I going to be in March, and this is all part of the process. That's what you guys have been preaching to me all year. That's what I want to do. So that was discussed before the match. He went bottom, and it didn't work out. But again, we tell our guys all the time not to get fixed on the result, but get fixed on the process. And so the process is, gosh, did he get better and learn it? Is he going to learn a ton from that match? And he ended up losing that match, but he handled it so well. I was so proud of him after the match. He's in the hallway doing his sprints. We leave guys alone after losses. So we didn't talk to him for a while, and when he did his sprints, and I was in the hallway just sitting there quietly on my phone, he gave me the head nod as if to say, I'm ready to talk now. Came over, we addressed some things, and the very next day, he and I were on the mat working on technique together. So just really proud of everything coming from him from that tournament. George D Camillo, gosh, he just looks so good. It's maybe the best I've ever seen him wrestle. He came right out and pinned a couple guys. Actually pinned a guy who's been ranked as high as 8th in the country from Missouri at one point. I think it was the second round of 16. Goes into the quarters, beats the Oklahoma State kid. Goes into the semis, and this is, I'm going to be very careful in what I say here, the semifinal match with Georgie Camillo against number 1 ranked wrestler Dean Heil, and also returning national champion. I'm not going to say what I said because that could get me in trouble. I'm going to talk about what people told me. I'm going to talk about what officials told me, what alumni told me, what my wife told me, what text messages, forums, websites. I mean, you look at any website from that tournament, they're all addressing it. So this isn't Steve Garland's opinions. These are the opinions of hundreds and hundreds of maybe thousands of people who watched that match. What I was told was that it was controversial is an understatement to say that George. Well, I will speak for myself in this way because this won't get me in trouble. I feel like George D Camillo did everything he could to win the match. I'm so proud of him for it. I thought he wrestled out of his mind. He took 8 offensive shots, at least 2-0 from the other opponent. He was the one creating all the action. Our theme for our team this year has been just to attack and score points. He did all that. He lost himself in the match. He shot constantly. He was all over the kid's legs. Gosh, I mean, I think, and the fact that he was even looking for falls at times when they were in scrambles. He was looking for takedowns, and the fact that he didn't get those takedowns absolutely broke our hearts, broke his heart, most importantly. We feel like the good news is he wrestles like that. I mean, gosh darn it, he just good a chance to win a national championship than anybody in the country. I mean, it was everything you want to see in a wrestler. It was so entertaining. The crowd was going nuts. It was just such a great representation of who Georgie is as a person and as a wrestler. So, I'll let you guys check out the forums and the websites, and I'll stop there just to get more information on the controversy piece of that match. But the fact that he didn't win that match is mind-boggling. But at the same time, just like we told Jack, and just like we've been talking all year to these guys, it's really for George is taking what he can from that match and what can he control, what can he put on, and what he can control and what he can take away from that match is the fact that when he wrestles like that, he's going to be extremely difficult to beat. It was wonderful to watch. We're so proud of him. Next guy I'll talk about is Andrew Atkinson. Andrew Atkinson was a high-seeded wrestler at this tournament. He made it all the way to the quarterfinals where he came down with a showdown with the 10th-ranked wrestler in the country from Minnesota, who's a total stud. And Andrew, it was amazing what he did. He got taken down first. He stayed the course, he stayed under control, and he just grinded out top in the second period, and he just stayed persistent, and finally got a turn to break the match open. And then in the third period, the young man from Minnesota started to come back. He started to do some great stuff offensively. Andrew countered one of his shots and put him to his back to ice the match and get one of the biggest wins of his career and make the semifinals. It was just amazing to watch. And Andrew's been so close for so many years. We watched him lose to Bruschetta from Virginia Tech twice in overtime. Bruschetta took third in the country last year. We saw him lose to Tommy Gant by a point in a crazy shootout at NC State last year in the duel. So he's been so close. He took fourth at Vegas last year, so he's been up and he's been down and everything in between. So to see him get that win was bigger than just that day. It had been what I could see is 3 years leading up to that point. And then in the semis, he lost, I think, by 2 points to Joe Smith, John Smith's son from Oklahoma State, and then came back, tech falled a guy in the first wrestle back, and then lost for third and fourth. So, again, really big tournament for Andrew. We feel like our team overall, I won't name names, but we felt like there was a lot of good. We felt like guys were, well, I'll name a couple names actually. Something as simple as Will Shaney in the first round. He's losing and he's caught in a cradle and he hulks out and just freaks out, and it's one of those situations where technique's out the window and you just got to find a way, and he found a way to win that first round match against a kid who had beaten him before in his career. So proud of him for that. Louis Hayes, who's wrestling unattached. He's a redshirt, as you guys know. He beats the number 1 seed in the wrestleback, returning All-American. That was his first All-American that he's beaten in his career. That was an incredible feat for him. And we've been bragging a lot about our first years, but it just continues. I mean, our grades came in last week, and gosh, they just crushed it across the board. I think we only had one guy that was at risk, and everybody else is just completely doing the right thing and doing so well academically. We're just so proud of that group, and Louis sort of a big part of that group. Mickey Philippi, wrestling unattached, another redshirt freshman who lost 5-3 to Cade Brock, the eventual tournament winner and top-ranked guy in the country, and he loses to him 5-3 in a barn burner, and showing his skills. And guys like, there's a lot of other things to talk about too. I'll just say this, is we're happy with the way we're competing, but we're certainly not happy with the result. and we have to put those two together moving forward, because now we have Virginia Duels, which is an extremely tough dual meet tournament, and then we have the ACC run, which is going to be insane. It's going to be as tough a run as we've had all year, and so we really have to start finding ways to win those close ones, and that's going to be our focus moving forward. I want to thank everybody for their support. Thank you guys so much for the late push in terms of giving to the Virginia Athletics Foundation and to our program. Hopefully most of you guys got, I sent out some stuff last week, and hopefully you guys received that, to show you a token of my appreciation for everything you do for our program. Coming up is Virginia Duels. We'll keep you posted. We'll hit you up with another video next week.